And it's time now for business. We say hello to EUcarmakers.
Hi, François.
We begin with Stellantis, the car maker, which has had a bit of a rocky road in 2025, and it ain't over yet.
No, not at all. The group behind Peugeot, Citroen, Fiat, Chrysler and other car brands says it's suspending production at two of its plants, one in Poissy, France, and another in Pomigliano, Italy, because of weak market demand in Europe. Now, the temporary closure will begin at the end of September and last up to 3 weeks. And thousands of workers during this time will be furloughed. The move comes as European car makers have been dealing with Donald Trump's higher tariffs as well as rising competition from China. Luke Schrager has more.
A 15-day hiatus for the largest car plant in the Paris region from October 13th to the 31st due to what Stellantis called a difficult market in Europe. The Poissy plant, which produces 420 vehicles a day, including the Opel Mokka and the Citroen DS3, will see its 2,000 staff either placed on leave or short-time working. And that's not all. Stellantis is also halting production at its Italian Pomigliano factory from September 29th to October 6th and furloughing its 3,800 workers. Stellantis and its 14 vehicle brands have struggled in 2025. Not only is it facing less demand in Europe, new vehicle registrations there were flat in the period January to July, with those for Stellantis brands falling 8%. It's also been buffeted by US tariffs, impacting a significant market for the company, and is facing serious competition from Chinese newcomers and a slew of cheaper electric vehicles. They've attracted cost-conscious European consumers as firms like BYD expand into the European market, something that pushed Brussels to step in last year, imposing tariffs on what it called unfairly subsidized Chinese EVs in an effort to protect its own automakers.
And in the UK, production suspended at another car plant for different reasons. Gremlins in the system at Jaguar Land Rover.
Jaguar Land Rover, indeed. That's the company that's owned by India's Tata Group, Tata Motors. And it has been unable to make cars since the attack, a cyber attack in late August, forced it to shut down its IT networks. In a statement on Tuesday, the car maker said the current production pause would be extended until the 1st of October as it builds the timeline for a phased restart of operations. The UK government says its cybersecurity team is working with the firm as it's not an isolated case. Jaguar Land Rover is among a string of businesses hit by cyber attacks in recent weeks. Last week, airports in London, Brussels and Berlin were disrupted as ransomware paralysed their automated check-in systems.
This is the modern day bank heist. So instead of knocking off a bank, they're now knocking over a company. And what they'll do is they'll attack an organization. They will attempt to exfiltrate some data, steal some data off them. Then they'll place some kind of ransomware technology on the network, render the system useless, and then force the organization in question to the table.
The Paris-based Organization for the Economic Cooperation and Development saying the world economy will slow because of Donald Trump's tariffs.
Eventually, the OECD has published an interim report on its economic output with estimates updated from its June report. It expects global growth to slow to just 3.2% this year from 3.3% last year, but that's compared to the 2.9% previously estimated. This is thanks in part to AI investment propping up economic activity in the US and fiscal support alleviating impacts of a slowdown in China, as well as measures taken by businesses before Donald Trump's tariffs kicked in, like accelerating shipments and stockpiling goods. But the group warns that the full impact of US tariff hikes was still unfolding, with prices increasing by nearly 20% by the end of August. Here's OECD Secretary General Matthias Cormann speaking earlier.
As of the end of August, the average tariff rate on merchandise imports to the United States is estimated at 19.5%, which is higher than at any time between the mid-1930s and 2024. The full effects of these tariffs will become clearer as firms run down the inventories they build up in response to tariff announcements and as the higher tariff rates continue to be implemented.
In the Eurozone, trade and geopolitical tensions are offsetting the boost from lower interest rates. The bloc's economic growth forecast has been revised upwards to 1.2% this year, but downwards to 1% for next year. Germany, which has removed its debt brake and increased public spending, is propping up Eurozone growth, while political uncertainty and financial instability in France is putting a drag. Other economic data out today also showed that while economic activity edged up in August in the Eurozone, the underlying trend suggested that the bloc's industrial rebound might be fizzling out, and services were supporting growth now.